This is our lodge. So, Tursick, you did this one more or less on your own with regards to the design and most of the decoration too. So, tell me what is this lodge for?
Um, to kill time. It's Valheim. What is any of this for? It's fun to build. It's fun to look at and have a nice pan of the entire area. But no, the lodge's main functions were to provide a place that, of course, had the max comfort, but also showcase a little bit. It would be considered, I think, by most people what a main base would be. But since the way that we designed and broke up the farms and all that stuff, this was more of the sleeping quarters, perhaps. Um, but we wanted a place that could kind of showcase our individuality on our rooms, our gear that that we could display there. Any items, I know Sulu, you tend to do more of the magic stuff. I tend to do more of the sword and board things and the melee. Um, and our rooms can demonstrate that. But also, it's just nice to have a little kind of a castle keep in the mountains with the snow.
Yeah, I would just add that another function for me is I appreciate having like a little room that is for my stuff that is also decorative and just really nice, and it gives it the RP quality that would be lacking if we only used the lighthouse for a base.
Absolutely, you can spend a lot of time. It's outside. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time in here, but you can spend a lot of time on the designs, the hearths, the fireplaces, like you mentioned, the awnings, all that kind of stuff to put a lot of detail in here. I'd say that the kitchen had a lot of detail, but I think this arguably has more.
Yeah,
You have
I'd
built-ins, you
agree.
have incorporating ashwood and grouston and all that kind of stuff in there, to
And
really
that,
play around with that and lighting and all those
yeah,
effects.
and that's just the inside. You put so much work into the outdoor decoration here too that it's the whole thing just feels really detail oriented, like um,
Detail.
detailed. So the trophy museum has a lot of the legacy, like through the ages weapons and armor, but the lodge is where we're putting all of our another function for it is where we're putting all of our extra armor or more modern
Backup
stuff,
gear.
backup gear, and then like featured items.
Mm.
um, so it also serves that purpose. So what is the challenge of having this in the mountains versus the meadows? Like, what are some of the things we're having to deal with?
Drakes. Drakes are the big thing, but I do like that it added a nice bonus and a purpose for the I think they're called the ballistas, to look like there's armaments in the turrets at the on the walls of the lodge there to make it give it that kind of castle feel. Um, the benefits, of course, of being in the mountains is again, I've mentioned a couple times, I love the blizzard effects, the snow. It's really underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that much in the way of rain on there. In the other biomes, they don't really affect it all that much, and Ashlands just destroys your crap. It's nice like that, but this feels like weather. It's impactful, and there's a drastic difference between a blizzard at night and day. Um, so I would say that the challenge is, of course, is the terrain. And instead of trying to, like every other build where we took the terrain and we molded it to what we wanted to do, I tried to use the terrain a bit. I mean, most of it was still flat, but it had a multi-layered level here because one, I couldn't dig more than, what is it, 15 tiles, whatever the game's limitations are without mods. But also it forced me to think a little bit around there, which is something I don't normally do. Normally I just try to flatten it out and build a flat thing. But this allowed it to give the illusion of even higher because you can go higher with your structural integrity.
So since this whole build is an original and uh, is really nice, which part are you most proud of? Which was your favorite part to make?
Um, I would have to say the bones, the walls, and the outside. Um, the inside, of course, is more your realm as far as decoration. I'm not all that great at building the built-ins. the strong attention to detail on the little things. But I really like the structures. I like making the rooms, making the designs and the bones of the rooms. So I'd have to say the main keep area, if you want to call it that, has a it's a multi-tiered, but it's not just a box on top of a box on top of a box like you might find as a high-rise tower or something. It's got a lot of ins and outs to it, a lot of design choices that make it look like a keep and add depth and detail, um, to railings, to um, overhangs, that kind of stuff. And it really allows you to walk in and out seamlessly and experience both the weather instead of just being an all interior or an all exterior building. So yeah, that's probably what I would think of. So Sulu, what's yours?
Um, Definitely my favorite feature and detail to add was the bone mass trophy outside the bedroom that spooked you the first time you saw it. That was
That was freaky.
so worth it.
Yeah.
I guess my second favorite would be I really made a point to try to pay attention to the floors and the ceilings and not just the walls on the main keep and most of the floors in in the main keep, so the first floor of the main keep, in the bedroom in the main keep. I did I made an effort with parts of the room I don't normally pay attention to.
Yeah, and it shows. There's still places where if we weren't in survival mode, then we would definitely fix. There's this odd core wood piece sticking out, maybe, or something like that. But we both spent a lot of time trying to make it look good because it was kind of a home at this point. It was kind of a um, this is our kind of our proud masterpiece next to your kitchen there, and
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to make it look good. I mean, a lot of the walls had trimmings on them that they serve no functional purpose in the game. Arguably, since you're in survival, you're losing resources doing this and just spending more time and being a giant time sink. But it looks good. It makes sense. It's a bit of a recreation on what you would expect. You've got a courtyard, a keep. You've got the sword and the stone, um, and you've got places, blacksmiths, woodworking, all that kind of stuff. Upper levels. I think we had a feast hall in there, all that kind of stuff. And just the attention to detail is something that this build versus our other builds have. This one has going for it.